Hi everyone, my name is Adrian Flintstone. I'm a German university student traveling around the world to all the startup hubs to learn what it takes to build a successful company. I'm not an expert, I'm one of you, but I'm gonna share everything I will learn with you so that you can learn too what it takes to build your own company. You can learn what I learn, you can see what I see, and you can experience what I experience. I'm gonna take you with me to this journey, and this video series is gonna be about the basics. So stay tuned, there's a lot of interesting business content coming, and see you there. So in this video I'm going to talk about accelerator programs and what are accelerator programs about and how can you benefit from them. So what is a startup accelerator program? I got my notes down here on my laptop, so don't be confused when I look down here a couple of times. So a startup accelerator supports early stage growth-driven companies through education, mentorship and financing. So how does this work? A startup has to apply to one of these accelerator programs, and I'm going to talk about this later too, but there are many of them. So as soon as you get accepted by one of these programs, you will join this program for a limited time period. So in this time period is usually from 3 months to 6 months. And after that there are certain demo days where you present what you've worked on. So we got the fixed time period. What else? You are usually not alone with your startup in one of these programs. The accelerator programs accept usually a bunch of these, and all of these companies work together side by side. Usually they share office spaces. And this is a good thing because you get different people from different backgrounds and you can talk to them. And I've been in a couple of co-working spaces recently, and super cool to see that people sit right next to each other and they talk about stuff, and they talk about current programs and problems that they have, and super interesting how they benefit from each other. So to sum this up, there are basically 4 factors that make these accelerator programs unique. Number 1, fixed time period. Number 2, cohort based. I mean this co-working thing. Number 3, mentorship driven. So every startup get mentors that help them solving the problems that they have. And the 4th thing is everything culminates in certain demo days where the startup presents their progress and their current state in their company to a well-selected audience. And this audience are usually investors, business angels, and a well-selected audience. Maybe you've heard about incubators, but incubators are not the same as accelerator programs. Incubators usually go from 1 year to 5 years, while accelerator programs go from 3 months to 6 months. So there are a couple of differences there. So accelerator programs are actually pretty young. I mean, like the oldest accelerator program that's well known is by Y Combinator, and Y Combinator launched this in 2005. By the way, speaking of Y Combinator is one of the 2 most important and most popular accelerator programs that you should know, and keep that in mind. And I think this is so interesting that I'd like to give you some background about this. These accelerator programs, as I said, they help early stage startups to take off. And I'd like to give you some examples about startups that went through this accelerator programs by Y Combinator, and some of them are billion-dollar companies by now. Maybe you've heard of Twitch, maybe you've heard of Dropbox, maybe you've heard of Reddit, and you have probably heard of Airbnb. And all these billion-dollar companies had help by Y Combinator in the beginning, when they were still a super small team of a few co-founders. And now they are these huge companies. So you can see how valuable it can be to go through these accelerator programs. A second program that you should remember is Techstars. And one of the most important startups that were supported by Techstars is Uber, for instance. So how exactly does this work? So usually these startups get some sort of funding, but they have to give a few % of their shares to these programs. So let's talk about the details of Y Combinator. As soon as a startup gets accepted by Y Combinator, they will get $120,000 in funding. They will stay there for 6 months, but they have to give away 7% of their shares to Y Combinator. But they don't only get the money, they also get a free office space for 6 months. And they will all probably get snacks and coffee. They will get a mentorship, they will get the network, and they will also get access to investors at these demo days. So in 2015, there were 172 accelerator programs in the US alone. So I think your chances will be pretty good if you apply to one of these programs, and I think one of them will accept you. And If that's not the case, maybe you should reconsider your business model. And I also found a very interesting statistics that said that since 2005, these accelerator programs have invested $20 billion in over 5,000 startups. So considering the huge amount of capital that was invested by these programs, you could say that these accelerator programs have had a big impact on the startup ecosystem here in the United States. So if you think that your startup has a good chance to get into one of these programs, I got something for you. I did some research and found a list of all the accelerator programs in the US, and I will link it down below. And I also found a list about the most important accelerator programs in Europe. And you can check it out too, and it's down in the description. And I will also give you the links to Y Combinator and Techstars so that you can check it out and get a first impression of this, and also what it takes to get in there. Alright, that's it about accelerator programs. I will also do some videos about the most important other terms that you need to know. And after this video series, I'm going to address all the startup phases. And I will talk about this in another video too, but to give you a little preview what you can expect in the next video series, I want to address all the phases that a startup can go through. I have a bunch of interviews planned and it's going to be super interesting, and I want to help you to build your own startup by giving you all the basics that you need. My goal is to inspire, enable and encourage young people to build their own startup. Thanks for watching this far. I hope this video was useful to you. If it was, please subscribe to my YouTube channel and also hit that like button, and I would love to see you again in the next video. Join the journey. There's a lot of awesome stuff coming soon, and hope to see you again in the next video. Thanks for watching.